Good evening, this is the Oscar expert here with Brother Bro. Now that the festival season is over, we have lots of clarity on the awards season. We can give you our updated predictions. So excited for this, folks. In this video, we are covering everything above the line, so that's screenplay, acting, director, and picture categories. Below the line categories will be covered in a separate video.
Cole, why don't you tell us what's getting nominated for Best Picture this year?
Oh, well, that's what I was just going to do. Marriage Story we have out front. A lot of people don't think that this movie can win because it's just like, I don't know, it's like the acclaimed drama that gets nominated but doesn't win, but like, who says that it can't win?
It's winning potentially 3 acting Oscars, so I don't know why people don't think that it couldn't win.
It's winning screenplay, that's a big deal.
I mean, it's the front runner right now. I don't see another movie that could beat it.
And keep in mind that the movie that wins Best Picture always wins either screenplay or director. Isn't that right, Justin?
Yes, and Marriage Story is winning screenplay.
If we look at what's winning director and what's winning adapted screenplay, I don't see them winning. Number 2 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, just because it remains a lock. Jojo Rabbit, number 3, because it won the People's Choice Award. It's a big deal. It might have mixed reviews from critics, but they don't matter in this case. We remember Bohemian Rhapsody. We remember Green Book.
Could this movie win, Cole?
I guess it's not impossible. It's probably winning. It might win the other screenplay award. 4 is Parasite. The reason Parasite is so high is because I feel like it's just more of a lock than these other movies, even though it is a foreign language film, because it is relentlessly loved.
Highly entertaining. It is an 100 on Rotten Tomatoes with nearly 100 votes and like a 9.1 average rating. I mean, that is one of the best Rotten Tomatoes scores we have ever seen. Bong Joon-ho is a lock for director, so why would you not think it's getting in Best Picture? This could take home many precursor awards coming up to Oscar season.
Maybe it can beat Paddington 2 for the all-time Rotten Tomatoes record. We've got The Irishman at number 5, and I think The Irishman is high because although we don't know for sure, no one's seen it, it is a big Scorsese hopeful, and he's very consistent at showing up to these Oscars.
And Cole, we'll be able to report back to you.
That's right. We're seeing The Irishman
in a
at the
couple
New York
weeks.
Film Festival
2
on
weeks.
the 29th. Ford v Ferrari is number 6. This movie is going to be the rip-roaring crowd pleaser that makes all the boomers say, remember when we have original Hollywood movies that just care about being fun and entertaining?
Hacksaw Ridge. Need we say more?
It's Hacksaw Ridge. Plus, it's winning editing, which is a pretty big deal. Last movie to win editing and not get nominated for picture was Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and that was still an anomaly, so. The Farewell is next on the list. It's not entirely in there, but I think that it's going to maintain that buzz. The critics' circles are going to still nominate it.
Usually movies that are like creeping in there from earlier in the year that are actually in the top 10 at this point do get in.
And it's got a couple actors going for it. 1917. Last we checked, this was number 1. This stage in the year, we have a lot of movies that have premiered now. So 1917, for all we know, could be a flop and not get nominated, but there's a lot of movies that we know we've seen that you can say for certain are contenders. We'll just have to wait and see, but I think it's still a strong contender.
My reservation for this movie is that it doesn't seem to have like that interesting of a plot, to be totally honest with you. It's just how it's made that's interesting. I wonder how unique this movie is aside from the one-take premise.
My counter argument is that the director is Sam Mendes, who cares very much about telling a story.
I'm skeptical.
Very strong. You can be skeptical.
And I am skeptical.
A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is number 9. This movie hits all the Oscar check boxes, I guess you could say. Something about it's like everyone's giving it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's enough people who would like put it at number 1. We're just going to have to wait and see.
It's hard for me even to put this in my top 10 because out of Toronto, you want to have that like buzz. You want to have that driving momentum that can take you all the way to the Oscars. And this movie has like a little bit of a push.
Joker's number 10. Some people have this higher, some people say no way. Phoenix is probably a lock, and he's a lead actor. It's like technically well made, which is very important for Oscars. That's part of the reason why Black Panther was able to get in.
Until Jojo Rabbit stole its thunder, Joker was the most buzzed about film of the festival, and that counts for something. It might be like sort of a phenomenon, for better or for worse, as people are anticipating, but it could have that small section of the Academy Awards that thinks it's a masterpiece, and maybe it gets in, maybe unexpectedly even, like who knows.
But people are struggling. What does this movie represent, and is it something negative? And if that is the case, is the Academy going to nominate something that represents something negative? It matters what the movie represents. It's part of the campaign. Maybe this movie fails on that front and doesn't get in. Little Women is 11. This dropped off because we simply have a lot of contenders out of the festivals that we know for sure. Could Little Women pop back in there? Sure. But to be honest, like, is the trailer amazing? It's kind of like what you'd expect. And if the movie is just what you'd expect, maybe it's not that great. Maybe it is a little bit of a flop.
I'm sure it will be considered a good movie, but again, it depends how it captures people's attention and captures the audience. And
I mean, is it doing anything new?
it doesn't seem that unique. It doesn't seem like it has like the stuff. You know,
I mean,
we'll see what Gerwig does with it.
Queen and Slim,
Still keeping it up there.
again, we have hope
Still
for it,
keeping it
but
up there.
we just don't know it yet to premiere at festivals.
But it could be like an underdog, you know, it could be a little gopher, like coming into award season, then it pops up. It can really solidify its place as a culturally important movie where I don't see other contenders this year, frankly, having that stake.
In the past 3 years, we've had a lot of Oscar contenders having race as a main theme, and out of these movies that we have, not really many of them. So maybe we're just waiting for that movie, and maybe Queen and Slim is still
It might save us. It might save us in that regard.
The Two Popes I have next because it got a surprising amount of buzz at the festivals, and it might just be that movie that appeals to the right crowd just enough, like Philomena, and gets in.
What I was thinking.
Bombshell is next, another movie we don't know what's going to happen, but I can see it getting in. I mean, addresses the current culture, the Me Too movement, and if it's great, then it can get in. It can get acting nominations, editing, a screenplay, you know.
Yeah, it could either be Big Short or I, Tonya. Either way, I feel like this would be a good movie.
Waves is 15. Kind of came out of the gate real strong, but didn't end up keeping that momentum all the way through. The ratings right now are not like Marriage Story level stuff that I think that this movie might need to get in.
Yeah.
Just Mercy. It is pure Oscar bait, but it is also a little bleh. So
if you're pure Oscar bait and you can't win the TIFF award, it matters a lot for you. And Just Mercy kind of tanked in that way.
Lighthouse is next. Still impressing people, but it's also
so niche. It's so damn weird. I mean, watch the most recent trailer. Fucking excellent trailer. Extremely weird movie. Bizarro Fest. And how does that get in for Best Picture? It's really hard to see.
It could Phantom Thread. It could Phantom Thread by just being a cinematic feast. Endgame is next.
Endgame can easily be dismissed and just like thrown into like the pile of MCU profits. Like, it doesn't need a Best Picture nomination.
No, and we got a lot of competition this year, so we don't need to put in Endgame, do we? Knives Out is next because I think some people are going to say it's one of their favorites of the year. I just don't see it being.
It's like one of the fun
Oscar
movies of the year. Yeah.
The Report.
Not happening. Just not happening.
It's just not happening.
Shouldn't even be here.
It's not happening. And Dark Waters, because that's just one of the leftovers that we just don't know yet what's happening with it. That's
probably
the Todd Haynes
freaking
movie.
Nothing. I mean,
Todd Haynes hasn't even gotten a movie nominated for Best Picture. Not even Carol. Best Director. We got a new number one here. It's Bong Joon-ho for Parasite.
I agree with
Who
you.
is not screaming this guy's name right
you.
now? It's nobody.
It's the achievement of the year, I think. The tonal shift, his resume, the fact that he hasn't been awarded yet at the Oscars.
It's a magnum opus. Everybody knows that this is a movie with a legacy. All right, we're gonna remember this movie in decades from now. I do see Sam Mendes as being a strong contender. It's a one-take movie, and as we've seen a lot of the previous Best Director winners, they do the long takes. Okay, Noah Baumbach is 3 for Marriage Story because he's a lock, frankly.
He is a lock for a nomination, for sure.
Scorsese, The Irishman. The only Scorsese movie to ever be nominated for Best Picture and not get Best Director was Taxi Driver.
So they like nominating him in a package.
5 is Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Who doesn't get in for every movie he's nominated for? Or
No,
is it just Django?
A lot of people love this movie, and actually people are starting to rewatch it, and they like it even more. But it's still somewhat of a divisive movie. I don't think he's a lock.
He could also be dismissed for just nominating like other people because we know what he does.
6 is Lulu Wang for The Farewell. I have her higher than others because Lady Bird and Get Out were not the most technically amazing movies, but they got in for director because new voices in cinema, distinct perspectives. That's what The Farewell has. Maybe people are like, well, where are the women that we're nominating?
Lulu Wang is going, hi, here I am. My movie's getting nominated for Best Picture. Can I please have a spot in the director category? And they're going to say, oh, Wang, we hear you out. We can make some room for you. Come here, come here. I would not underestimate Lulu Wang's nomination for director.
Taika Waititi, Jojo Rabbit. I think it's less likely that he gets in here because the movie's not the most acclaimed and the director's branch is snobby.
But entirely possible, I think.
It's one of the biggest
Entirely
contenders of the year. I will point to Green Book not getting nominated as, like, a reason why it's not in the top 5.
And he'll get director at other places. I've saying this in the other video. DGA, I think he could more easily get.
James Mangold, 4v Ferrari. There's not a lot of people screaming his name, but then I think Mel Gibson got nominated for Hacksaw Ridge. People say the racing scenes are so well done. That's director material. That's crap.
Generally, movies that get in for director have higher critic scores, and that movie does not have, like, the highest.
Marielle Heller, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. People are really commending what Marielle Heller did, her balance of tone. Todd Phillips for Joker. Because there's people who think it's, like, really a masterpiece.
I mean, people could shift over to the side of being like, okay, this is a director film, like, so we have to give Todd Phillips the nomination. I feel like it won't happen because Joker just, not everyone's feeling it.
Greta Gerwig, Little Women. Again, if this movie reviews come out and it's great, she could shoot up to the top 5 for sure. But right now, uncertain about the movie as a whole. Robert Eggers for The Lighthouse. Again, this movie could, like, appear in Best Director and not get Best Picture. It's a weird thing we both sense. But again...
He's using 4:3 aspect ratio. I mean, come on.
Melina Matsoukas, Queen and Slim. Again, this movie could just premiere and need all the nominations.
Queen and Slim also, if it is good and if it does get in for Best Picture, I see director coming as a package because of how well made the movie looks.
And last is Treya Schultz for Waves. If this movie somehow gets rebounded, Best Actor... Adam Driver, Marriage Story is number 1.
I think it's gonna. That's it.
People say that he's just giving a classically good performance. It's all you need. He's just getting the acclaim. It's just merit alone. Joaquin Phoenix Joker is number 2. He could win, but again, that movie is repelling so many people that I don't know if it can amass the amount of votes. Leonardo DiCaprio still looking pretty strong here. He's not gonna win though, folks. Let's be honest. Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes. He is a strong Best Actor contender. You should definitely have him on. People are raving for him. He's never been nominated.
You think so, Cole?
Approaching a lock. I think that The Two Popes is in for a couple categories, and this is one of them. 5 is Banderas for Pain and Glory, because he's also overdue for his first nomination.
Yeah, this is a total career achievement nomination if it happens. It's hard because... in the next slot, you have Robert De Niro coming up. So if he's like this lock, I mean, we have some really strong contenders for movies that have already premiered.
He could be out from the competition. If De Niro's like truly a lock, then I don't know what to say about Banderas.
Well, I mean, the only thing I would say is they have a way of squeezing in these kinds of performances and these sort of actors into this category. So
Taron Egerton for Rocket Man. He's hanging on by a thread right now. We really don't know about him. People are forgetting his movie. Daniel Kaluuya, Queen and Slim. If Queen and Slim is the contender, Daniel can get in. Eddie Murphy, Dolomite Is My Name. He got a lot of acclaim for this performance. I don't see him getting nominated. That would be like quite a surprise.
He could show up randomly in, like, Golden Globe. I mean, well, Golden Globes, he's going to show up in Comedy Actor.
Watch this movie get a random SAG and then an ensemble nomination, and it's, like, the most insane thing we've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
It's weirdly plausible. Mark Ruffalo for Dark Waters, just kind of because we don't know yet.
Who's he going to take out? DiCaprio? I mean, come on.
No.
A little bit of a joke.
Best Actress, Scarlett Johansson, Marriage Story. She is looking really strong as a frontrunner right now. Again, this is just a movie that every single performance is making people go, meh. Number 2, Renee Zellweger and Judy. Could win. Could steal Scarlett Johansson's Oscar. She could even steal Scarlett Johansson's Oscar if Scarlett Johansson is the frontrunner. She could just, like, freaking take a SAG and then she'll take the Oscar.
It could be it's a 2-horse race already, I'd say, Cole.
It is a 2-horse race. People loved her in Judy, but she has won an Oscar before and Scarlett has not. Cynthia Erivo for Harriet. As predicted, this movie is okay, but Erivo is very good, and they are going to campaign the shit out of her.
I think she's going to be, like, the reason to see this movie, and I should think she can easily get nominated.
And then 5 is Awkwafina for The Farewell. I think that people are going to want to nominate some of these actors from The Farewell. People loved her performance. It's kind of like a Yalitza Aparicio type performance. It's very quiet, very subdued.
That's why I have a hard time seeing her staying in when you have actresses in Bombshell. If Charlize Theron gets in for Bombshell, I see her going, bye-bye.
Saoirse Ronan, I think if Little Women gets in, she probably gets in, because she's Saoirse Ronan, she gets nominated a lot.
I just think it doesn't stretch, like, her boundaries, which is something they tend to look for.
And then Jodie Turner-Smith for Queen and Slim.
Maybe. Probably not.
Best Supporting Actor, Brad Pitt, still the front runner. He announced today that he doesn't want to campaign for this movie.
Really?
The question is, does it matter? The answer is no, it doesn't matter. Do you know why it doesn't matter? Because everybody's seen the movie. Pitt. It's not like you're Awkwafina and you have to like get people out there. You're Brad Pitt. You're overdue. Everybody saw your performance. They hooted and howled.
He just doesn't need to.
People respect that he won't campaign.
Yeah, like work in his favor. They're like, oh, give humble Brad an Oscar.
Tom Hanks, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, he just floored the audiences with his performance in this movie. And if he didn't already win 2 Oscars, maybe he'd be a front runner. Yeah, I think he's a big lock for this one. He's going to get nominated finally.
Now, Cole, I see that you have Bale on for Ford v Ferrari and supporting actor.
I do.
Can you explain that to me?
I can explain that to you.
So,
we don't know for sure where he's being campaigned. Some people think he's lead, some people think he's supporting. The studio always does what is most likely to get their actor nominated, and that is going to be putting him in supporting. He's technically not the protagonist. He's technically supporting. I bet you.
Really? Would he get nominated in actor if he was put in actor? People say it's one of his best performances. I mean,
he could. Look, if he's lead, I'll move him to lead. Jamie Foxx in Just Mercy, he's looking really strong, I think. He could be the lone nomination for this movie. They say that he is fantastic, best performance in the movie. Sterling K. Brown in Waves is number 5. This could be a lone nomination as well. People say that he's just fantastic. He's a stern father. That's an Oscar bait role.
I'm going to object here and say that Anthony Hopkins is a better chance for the 2 popes because Waves, just as a movie, they might not put that much behind it to campaign it because they might say, well, this isn't really catching. We're not really catching with people. 2 Popes is already getting an acting nomination, so how do they not nominate its co-star in supporting, which is a lesser category?
I agree that it's really hard to keep Hopkins off of here. You could flip him around if you want, but the reason I'm doubting him a little bit is because I think Price is stealing his thunder a little bit. But if he does get it, it'll be his first nomination in like over
I see them
20 years.
splitting the thunder. I think they're splitting the thunder.
Al Pacino in The Irishman is number 7. This just makes it really difficult because it's like,
how does he not get in? How does he not
get in? It's because, look at the top 6. I mean, what do you do? What does one do?
I feel like it's actually ridiculous to have Al Pacino, like, not at number 3, to be quite honest with you. I understand we haven't seen it. These are the other movies in here that we have seen. You know, it's really hard. I understand where you're coming from, buddy. I don't blame you for that. It's okay.
Oh, get your hands off me. Willem Dafoe, Lighthouse. I never really was convinced that he's going to get an acting nomination for this movie that's just kind of obscure. Alan Alda, Marriage Story. He's just not getting the hype of the other performers. Taika Waititi, Jojo Rabbit. He could randomly pop his head up in a couple of races, but I don't really know why he would get nominated, especially because the acclaim has not been centered around.
Well, you said it yourself, Cole. Sam Rockwell in Vice is the closest example where it's like purely a comedic performance. It's not layered, and yet people are like, The Golden Globes is going to nominate him, Cole. I'm so sorry.
Not with this
He's going to get somewhere.
Not with this competition. John Lithgow, Bombshell. He is playing Roger Ailes. He's wearing a big fat suit. I don't know. Supporting actress Laura Dern is number 1 for Marriage Story. She is a veteran actor, and she could win an Oscar. Who wouldn't be happy to see that? I don't see her getting beat at the moment. She could sweep.
Yeah.
Zhao Shuzhen for The Farewell. Everyone loved the grandma in that movie. How could they not nominate her? And they're going to. Jennifer Lopez, Hustlers.
They better fucking nominate Zhao Shuzhen. I will be so pissed. You will see me scream if she doesn't get nominated.
Jennifer Lopez, Hustlers.
You're number 3?
The hype is freaking strong. Everybody's coming out of this movie. Give Jennifer Lopez an Oscar!
Two counterarguments here, Cole. 1, it's hype out of the gate. 2, she's good, but someone else made this point. She's not doing anything that's like totally out of her comfort zone. Like, it's just a good role for her. I personally think she was like very fitting and very good in some scenes, but I don't need her to be nominated.
Well, personally. Other people do, so that's why she's here.
Some people do.
4 is Thomas and Mackenzie for Jojo Rabbit. I think that she is the most likely acting nomination.
I can see it.
Gold Derby. Get her on.
Where's your head at, Gold Derby?
She can carry over that critical hype for Leave No Trace. She's already been taken as a serious adult actress. She's apparently the best performance in the movie. 5 is Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie. I still think she'll get in for it.
I think that she's on the cutting board because where's her Oscar scene?
The chopping block?
Sure. Where is her Oscar scene? It is not there. She does not
takes
have
off her shoes and she goes,
That is not an Oscar scene. She could easily get snubbed.
Takes off her shoes and giggles.
Annette Bening, The Report. She drops off the list because
really?
She could get Claire Foy in First Man.
Yeah,
it's like,
people just don't care about the report.
If people don't care about the report, then why are they going to only nominate Annette Bening? Especially because she's not going to win. In the beginning of the year, people were like, well, maybe we can finally give her an Oscar, but that's not on the table anymore. Nicole Kidman in Bombshell is number 7. Again, Bombshell could have great actress performances, and Nicole Kidman could be in there for a supporting once we see the movie. Octavia Spencer in Luce, still holding out hope.
Cole, there is literally no hope. Luce is not going to campaign for awards, and I'm just so sorry because that's still my favorite supporting actress performance of the year, and it's not going to happen.
Florence Pugh, Little Women.
If anyone, it's her.
A couple early screening reactions said they really liked Florence Pugh in there. If Little Women's a contender, you can see her getting nominated.
But probably not.
And Meryl Streep, The Laundromat, because you made me put it on. Now, why'd you make me put that on?
Yeah, I made you put that on because people still like her in the movie, and she's Meryl Streep. She's always doing some wacky shit, and she knows how to come out of nowhere.
And this movie has shit reviews.
I would keep her low, too. I just think you need to keep her on your list, just in case. I mean, this is not that strong of a category this year.
Shit reviews. All right, then we're on to the screenplay categories. Starting off with original screenplay, the more competitive category. We have Marriage Story. It's winning. Tarantino's not going to get another Oscar. His movie is number 2. Parasite is number 3. This is a lock for screenplay. I mean, dark comedy.
Need
genre
you say more?
shifts. Farewell is number 4. This movie looks like it's still snugly in this category, and it can go well with that Best Picture nomination. In fact, I would say it needs this to get the Best Picture nomination.
I'd say it gets screenplay without Best Picture nomination.
Knives Out. This movie could easily just get honored for its witty screenplay. It's a mystery, it's got twists and turns, it's got comedy. What do you want out of a screenplay? You want this. Queen and Slim next. I think this was number 1 last time we made the list, but all these other films have premiered and we know that they're getting in. We don't know that Queen and Slim's getting in or not.
If it's good, it's like an easy screenplay lock, though.
But if that is the case, then it's hard to take off any of these top 5, I'll say. Bombshell is next. That movie is written by Charles Randolph, who did The Big Short. It's a screenplay movie as well. It could easily get in there, but it's just such a crowded category. Waves is number 8. This movie doesn't have the momentum to get picture, and without that, it's not going to get screenplay.
At least we don't think. I mean, it could just come out of nowhere.
The Report, number 9. This is just not going to happen, folks. It's probably not going to happen. Booksmart is not going to beat these top tier contenders. I know everyone's kind of hoping for it because it's a comedy, but
even 8th grade couldn't do it.
Lighthouse, probably not going to happen, but you know.
What?
Adapted screenplay. Jojo Rabbit may very well take this cake, and what a cake it is. It is a movie that juggles tones, that has a lot of comedy, and as we saw with Green Book, it doesn't need to be the best screenplay there, the favorite, to win the award.
Yeah, all you really need to have is a screenplay that, you know, is a story that wraps up in a nice bow.
The Two Popes is number 2.
And why do you have this in adapted?
And why do I have this in adapted? That's a great question, because Gold Derby has this in original. Well, guess what? The Two Popes is based off of a play from the same writer called The Pope. You might be saying, oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. This play was performed. It is adapted from something that was previously existing material.
Let me say, Moonlight was an adapted screenplay. That was literally the same case.
Whiplash, also based on a short film of the same thing. That still counts for them. They put everything in adapted.
Doesn't matter if the same writer wrote it. If it's his original story, it's still adapted from their material.
Let's not forget that Ballad of Buster Scruggs, we didn't know that was adapted until the nomination came out. When in doubt, it's adapted, but this one's like literally adapted. So I don't know why people haven't caught on to this.
So they're religious about it, Cole.
Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, number 3. I think the screenplay is solidly in there.
I think you need The Irishman to be number 3. If it gets anything, I mean, screenplay is just as likely as the actors.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Irishman could definitely get screenplay. And 5 Little Women, Joker is 6. Why do I have Joker on the outside? Because if the Academy is too afraid to nominate this movie, you're not going to see it in screenplay.
Joker's also not like a screenplay movie. It's part of the package, and the package might not happen.
Hustlers is this year's Straight Outta Compton. And Straight Outta Compton got nominated for screenplay, so it makes sense to put Hustlers here at number 7.
It has some very natural and like witty and like quick fire dialogue.
There are kind of a lot of people who just think that the movie's okay. I think the critics like it more than everybody else, actually, which is a little weird. Dark Waters is a threat because we don't know what it is, and that might be a movie that,
probably nothing,
if it's very good, then maybe that could be the one nomination if there is any. Just Mercy, not gonna happen, especially because the writing was considered not very good, but if this movie somehow gets in the Best Picture race, then I don't know. And Toy Story 4, not gonna happen, but, why not? Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. How many Oscars are you gonna win this season?